Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in my last video I shared with you guys how to draft a tube bustier with a queen and neckline and Basque waistline. So in this video we are going to be learning how to stitch this. So just in case you've not seen that video, please refer back to that video and then come back. Let's sew this together. So this was a pattern drafting. Just in case you've not seen it, please go ahead and watch that first. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit on the subscribe button and please turn on notification bell so that when I upload my next video, you'll be first to get notified. So let's go into today's video. So guys, these are the materials we drafted out on our last video, and just in case you've not seen it, just like I said, please refer back to that video so that you know what we are doing here. So first thing I did was I placed all my patterns on my fabric and then cut them out. I have my center front here, and while cutting I added half inch round this point here, sorry, and I added half inch all this part. So do well to add half inch for your stitching allowance. So I'll just open it up. I also have lining pieces for it. I cut out lining for this as well, and then I have this my wording here. I also went ahead to cut out wording for this. This is wording for some of you that know this as padded, and I also ironed head stay on my fabric. Okay, so this is just to give it more strength. Go ahead and iron head stay, it is necessary. So this is just for the center front here. For the side front, I also went ahead to do same thing, added half inch round it, and I also have lining pieces for it. I have two here. So while cutting the side front, make sure you cut out two pieces. So I have two pieces for it, and I added half inch round all this part here. So you need to add half inch for your stitching allowance. I will just go ahead and remove all these pins here so that I will open this up for you to see. I also went ahead to iron head stay on it. So I ironed head stay on it, and this is how it looks. I also cut out wording for it, that's padded, just in case you know how to, you know that as padded. I'll be showing you guys later. So for the back pattern, I also have went ahead to place it on my fabric and cut it out, added half inch round, and I cut out two pieces for this, but I didn't add half inch at the zipper area. Okay, so please take note of that. And I have lining pieces for it as well. So I have four pieces, two lining and two fabric. Now for the sleeve, I went ahead to draft out a basic sleeve. This is just a basic sleeve. I have this on my channel already on how to, you can get this, just in case you don't know how to go about this. I'll be linking it in the description box, and I cut it out with my laced fabric. So for the skirt part, I have cut out the skirt part, and we did all of this on that video, so please refer back to the video. So guys, we're going to start with the sewing part, and I'm going to bring out my center front pieces. So I have my center front here. I'm going to place my wording on it. If you've used this before, you should know that there's a part that is always shining. That's a part you need to place on the wrong side of your fabric. Okay, so for the side, I went ahead to cut out these two here. If you don't know how to do this, please let me know in the comment section. Let me make a video on this. So I have two. I'm going to place them on the both side, and I will take this over to my iron and iron them down. Okay, so this is just how it's going to be. Go over to your iron and iron it out. Okay, this is what I have after I was done ironing this. So right now it's very firm, and I'll turn this over to the right side. So I'm going to place this right side facing each other this way. So this is how it's going to be. This is how you should place them. So I'll place them right side facing each other this way, and I'll pin it down. I'm going to do same for this other side as well.
So many times that I miss you. to. Now you got way bigger issues. You're running around like you single. Slow down, only you the ginger, the whole town. Slow it sometime. Go out, mountain for your back, make it run wild. Slow it sometime. I know how to call when I want to. Now you got way bigger issues. You're running around like you single. Slow down, only you the ginger, the whole town. Slow it sometime. Go out, mountain for your back, make it run wild.
So I'm done pinning this down. As you can see, I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and stitch this down with 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is how it looks like. I've not even stitched this down yet. So go over to your sewing machine. You're going to stitch down those areas you pinned. You're going to stitch down these areas here with 1/2 inch, and you're also going to do same thing for this part. This is what I had after I was done stitching this down. You can see the effects on it already. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to the wrong side and then notch this. So while notching this, just be careful not to like cut off the stitches you made. So just be careful. I'm going to notch it. I'll notch it until it gets to the waist area. Okay, so that when we turn this over to the right side, it's going to relax perfectly. That's the main reason why you need to notch this. So by the time I'm done, I'm going to also do same for this other part here. I'm also going to notch it, and I'll take this over to my iron and iron the seams open. So guys, this is it here. I'm done ironing this, and this is how it looks from the inside. I ironed all the seams open, and this is it here. Can you see? So I'll just cut off these excess threads I have here. So this is just how it looks. Now the next thing you are going to do is we're going to now place our lining on top of it this way. So I also went ahead to like do same thing for the lining pieces. I also ironed it out, and this is how it looks. So if you have enough head stay, I will advise you use head stay on the lining, most especially if your lining is not strong. So I don't have enough head stay, so the little one I have, I just used it for the front pieces alone. So right now I'm going ahead to pin the neck area. So this is what I'm doing here, just using my pins to hold them down, because the next thing you need to do is to stitch down those areas. So these are the areas I'm pinning down here. So I'll just pin it down, and I'll also do same for this other side, and then I'll head over to my sewing machine and stitch them down. So just watch what I am doing with my hands. So this is it. You're going to go over to your sewing machine, stitch from here. You get to this point, raise up your needles, and then continue stitching. When you get here, do same and stitch to the top area here. So I'm going to stitch that down, and then I'll come over to the side and close up this side. Please don't close up your armhole, and I'll do same thing for this other side here. This is it after I was done stitching down these areas here. I also did same for this part and this other side here. I'm going to turn this over to the right side, sorry. So if you notice, you see that I didn't even close up my armhole. But before we turn, let's go ahead and notch. This is really very important. You need to notch this so that when you turn this over to the right side, it's going to stay perfectly. So go ahead and notch it just like this, turn it over to the right side and iron it out. So guys, I've ironed this out, and this is how it looks from the inside. Everywhere is just looking very neat. So right now I'm going to fold this over like this. So I just want to trim off the excess fabric I have at the end here. So I'm just trying to like make sure everything is well placed, and I'll just cut this part off. So once you are done, if you have any excess, just go ahead and place it this way and then cut it out. That's what I'm doing here. So I'll just make sure to cut that part out. You need to cut it out, okay? So this is just what I'm doing here. So once you're through, you have something looking like this. I've not even ironed this yet at this point. I've not ironed it yet, that's the truth. So I'm going to keep this aside first, and let's work on the back pieces. So I'll just remove all my pins from it. Okay, so just go ahead and remove all the pins and then start working on your back pieces for now. So this is it here, but before I remove this pattern paper, I want to notch this dart area. So make sure to notch the dart area before removing your pattern paper. Okay, so this is it here. After I removed it, I have two pieces for the lining and two pieces for my fabric. But right now we are going to go over to our sewing machine and stitch down the dart. And to know the length of my dart, I'm going to measure this out to know the length of my dart. Okay, so go ahead and measure it down. So I'll place my tape here, measure down to this point. I had about 10 inches. So I'll place it directly on that part that I notched, and I'll just mark it here, make a point. This is where my dart is supposed to stop. So I'll do same thing for this other side. So when you go over to your machine, you're going to fold it this way and stitch. So I'll do same thing for this other side here. Okay, so just make sure you're doing this correctly. So I'll place it here and make a point here. Okay, so this part here is where I'm going to stitch down my darts. So I'll do same thing for the lining as well. Make sure that anything you're doing same thing for the lining. So these are the areas I'm going to stitch down. And for this other part as well, I'm going to also do same thing for this part. So I'll go over to my sewing machine, stitch down my darts, and show you guys what I have. So guys, I'm done stitching down the darts, and this is what I have here. I stitched this down on the wrong side of my fabric. So this is it here for the two pieces of the back. So I also did same thing for the lining pieces. Okay, so whatever you do for the back, make sure you do it same thing to the lining pieces. So this is it here. I've gone ahead to iron out everything. So I'm going to place this one here, right side facing each other this way, and I'm going to pin down the parts we need to stitch down. So the parts I'm pinning down, that's the parts I will take over to my sewing machine and stitch it down with half inch. So this is why I said you should add half inch round this when cutting this out for your stitching allowance. Okay, so I'll keep pinning this down. These areas I'm pinning down, these are the areas you need to stitch down. Okay, so just look at the areas I'm pinning down. So I'm done stitching this down. I stitched this down from the neck area to this other point. I believe you can see my thread. So these are the areas I stitched down, and then I decided to just show you guys what I did on this very part here. So I have this little strap here that measures, the length is 4 inches, but I will advise you use 2 inches because by the time I was done it was too long. So I'll fold it this way and then pin it here. Now what I did was I folded the fabric into two. The fabric length is 4 inches, just like I said, and I stitch it down, then later turned it over to the right side and iron it out. So I'll be using this for my buttonhole. So this is too long as of the time I was done. So please use 2 inches as the length for this, okay? So I placed it. I'm going to place my lining on top of it this way, right side facing my fabric. I'll stitch the neck areas and this part here, and also stitch down this part. This is it after I was done. So right now I'm going to turn this over to the right side, but before then I'm going to notch all the areas I stitched down. Once I'm done notching those areas, I'm going to turn them over to the right side and iron them out. This is what I had after I was done ironing this out. This is how it looks. So this is just how the back is going to be. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is I'm going to keep this aside, and then we'll now work on the skirt pieces. So remember we cut out the skirt in our last video. So right now I'm going to remove one part of it, and then let's work on the back pieces for now. So I told you guys on the drafting part that I'm not going to be adding that on the front pieces. Okay, so from this dart area I came down by 6 inches, and I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and stitch my darts to that stitch inch 6 inches length, sorry. And I'm going to also do same thing for this other side. I'm going to place it on this dart area here, come down by 6 inches as well, and I'll also draw a straight line this way, so I'll stitch down those points. I've stitched down my dart, and this is what we have here. So when I turn it over to the right side, this is what I have. So it's now time to now fix the back pieces with the skirt part, and after then fix our zipper as well. So I'm going to place the both pieces this way. Remember the back is cut into two pieces, so I'm going to place them this way, and I'm going to bring my back pieces and then place them right side facing each other. Make sure you know the parts you are placing. So right now I'm going to make sure that while I place this, that the darts are meeting each other. Now you need to take note of this. When you are stitching this, make sure your darts are meeting each other. Make sure that at the end of the day your dart is not one side and this other side will be, this other one is on this other part. Just make sure to match this dart area here. Make sure that they are equal. I just hope you understand what I'm saying. So just go ahead and pin down that part if you know that you cannot stitch them directly on your sewing machine without pinning it down. So go ahead and pin it down. I also pin down this other part here just like this, and I will go over to my sewing machine and I'll stitch down those areas with 1/2 inch. So this is it. When I turn it over, you see that my dart is exactly on, is just the same length with the dart I had on the skirt area as well. So I'll do same thing for this and for this other side. So I'm done, and this is what I have. When I lift this up, you see that my darts are meeting each other this way. This is how yours is supposed to look like. This is how yours is supposed to look like. Make sure you take notes of this. This is very, very important, okay? For a client to see this, that client will know that, okay, you actually know what you are doing. So it's now time to fix our zipper to the back. So I've gone ahead to place them right side facing each other this way, and I'm going to start like placing my zipper on it. This is just to help me know where I want it to stop, and I think I want it to stop somewhere around these areas that I'm marking here. So just somewhere around here is okay for me. So I'm going to bring my tape and I'll measure from this very point here to about 15 inches or 16 inches this way. So I'll just mark this point. So I'll go over to my machine and stitch down those areas I marked. So from here to here, so the rest part is going to be for my slit, and I'll fix my zipper at the top. So this is what I had after I was done fixing my zipper, as you can see. So this is just how it is. So this other part here is just for my slit. I hope you can see this. So this is just for my slit. So guys, right now we are done with the back pieces. So what I did was I also used hemming gum to hem the ends of this part, so it's looking very neat. So this is it. Is now time to work on the front pieces. So I have my front pieces here. So this is what we are going to start with. So let's start with this first. I'm going to fold this into two this way. Just go ahead and fold them into two, just like this, just like what I'm doing here. So I'm going to bring my center front pieces this way, and I'll open it up just like this. So it's now time to get the back effect on our skirt. So this is very simple. So you just need to place your front pieces on top of it. Just make sure you are placing it correctly. So from this point here, I'm going to come down by 5.5 inch. Now, while we were drafting this, we came down from our waistline by 5.5 inch. Don't forget. So I'm still using that very measurement for this, and I'm going to take the midpoint of my skirt. So I'll just fold my tape into two this way, and I will make a point. Already, I have the midpoint here. I'm just showing you guys. I went ahead to iron it, and I have the center of this my skirt already. So if you didn't iron it, you just need to measure it and have the midpoint. So once you are through, you are going to bring the front pieces this way and place it on top of it. Make sure it's exactly on that line, that 5.5 inches points I marked. I'm making sure that it's just exactly on that line, and I'm using my chalk to trace out the shape. So you are going to use your chalk and trace out the shape. Just make sure that whatever you are doing this correctly. Okay, so I'll just use my chalk to trace it out. Okay, so just go ahead, use your chalk, trace it out, and then I'll go ahead and cut it off. Just look at what I am doing here. After tracing this out, my chalk is not very visible, but I just hope you can see this. So I just make sure to trace it down to that point. The next thing to do is I'm going to cut it off. But while cutting this off, I'm going to cut off, but I'll be leaving about 1/2 inch at the top. That 1/2 inch is going to serve as our stitching allowance. So I'll just cut this off totally and then show you guys what to do next. So this is how it looks by the time I'm done cutting this. So this is just how yours is supposed to look like. So I'm going to bring the front pieces and I'll place it right side facing each other this way. But before then, you need to notch the center part, okay? So I'll bring my scissors and notch this center part. Just notch a little, about 1/2 inch away, okay? Just notch about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do same for the upper part here. I'm also going to pick it up and notch it about 1/2 inch, okay? Just notch a little. So after notching this, you're going to place them right side facing each other this way, and you're going to pick one side of the notch and also one side from the skirt area, and you're going to pin them down. So I'll pick one side of it this way and place them with this other side and pin it down. So one thing you need to know is when you are making something like this, you need to first stitch the first part and then turn it over to know if it's correct before going ahead to stitch the other part. So I'm going to pin down these areas here, and I'll take it over to my sewing machine and stitch it down. Please, when you stitch this down the first time and it's not looking okay, go ahead and loosen it up again and stitch it down again, because some persons will stitch this down and you find out that it's not looking okay, like what you're expecting. So it's very okay to have something looking that way just for the first time, and you are very free to go ahead and open it, loosen it up, and start stitching it all over again until you have the results you're looking for. So this is how it looks like. So I'll go over to my machine and stitch down that point I these areas here, and also stitch down the other part. Okay, so this is what I have after I was done stitching this down. You can see how this looks. I've not even ironed this yet, but please iron it out. So right now I have this trimming here. You guys, I showed you this on the video, so I will be using this. I just want to give you like a little like design on the waist area here. This is just to give it a little beauty around these areas here. So guys, this is what I had. I went ahead to stitch this down using my threads to just hold it down in place, and this is what I have here. So it's now time to join the back and the front pieces together. So I'll place them right side facing each other, and to do that you need to pick your shoulders area. So I'll pick up my shoulder area here and also do same for this other side. I'm going to place them fabric to fabric and lining to lining, and I'll head over to my sewing machine and stitch them down with 1/2 inch. And I'm also going to do same thing for this other side. I'll pick them up lining to lining and fabric to fabric. I'm done stitching this down, and this is what I had. I also went ahead to fix my long sleeve on it. These are the areas I stitched down. If you don't know how to like make a basic long sleeve, I already have a video on my channel, sorry. You can go check it out. So I'm going to be linking that here in the description box for you to go check it out. So I just went ahead to just fix my sleeves. So right now I'll go over to my machine and then fold in 1/2 inch this way, and also fold in 1/2 inch again and stitch it down. And then I'll be using my trimming, because I also want to add trimming around the sleeves area. So after folding it, I'll be using my trimming on top of it this way, and I'll do same thing for the second sleeve as well. And I also give a little bit design on the chest. So guys, this is what I had after I was done making this dress. I just went ahead to give a little bit design around the chest area as well. So I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.